Hello, buddy. All right, welcome to the Mikestand. Today is of course Wednesday. It is Wednesday, April the 9th, 2024. So hopefully everybody's having a good day today. As it is Wednesday, of course, this is Hump Day, meaning that we are um, um, as today is um, Wednesday, April 9th. It is hump day, so getting over the hump. So hopefully everybody's ready to get over the hump. We're just waiting for people to show up, obviously, before we get started. Of course, been keeping track of a lot of stuff. Saw some good cartoons earlier today. Saw another Three Little Pigs silly symphony cartoon. This time focusing on the Three Little Wolves. Um, it's part of my watching. So, anyway, so now we're past the 2 minute mark here. It's a little bit more. Um, let's see. Yeah, a friendly reminder, of course, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. We are, of course, waiting on more people to show up. We do one last little attempt here to see if I can get some more people in. See if there's anybody I can find here. Okay. All right. So with that, then let's see where we. Okay, so we're now at the 3 minute mark. I guess I will talk about what's on tap for tonight now. Um, so tonight I got a couple articles to go over. One from MeTV Tunes and the other from Bounding into Comics. Of course, on the MeTV Tunes one, which came out yesterday, and talk a bit about who did Bugs Bunny bug the most. So of all the all the people that Bugs kind of got on the nerves of, who did he get on the nerves of the most? Um, then we'll head over to then we'll head over to Founding in the Comics and do another follow up story on the whole thing going on with Marvel Comics and them ignoring fans. We'll get into that. We'll also have the wrestling wrap up, get caught up on last night's NXT, as well as looking ahead to tonight's AW Dynamite, get caught up on all the latest news and the wrestling side of things, and of course get caught up on all the. Well, we'll also do the This Day in Each History segment. Hey, Fishozo. Again, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. I'll be right back. I'll put some music on the entertaining, but when I come back, we'll get started on the article. So I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Things happen sometimes. Let's see. What did you? I can can't really share because I have no audience on any social media platform. At least try. But thank you for that. Anyways, for show though. Um, but anyway, so now I'm back. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Get to our material here that we're going to go over tonight. And the first thing, as I said, we're going to go over and look at a kind of a more of a profile type article from MeTV Tunes in regards, of course, to Bugs Bunny here. Who did Bugs Bunny bug the most? Ain't he a stinker? Article published April 8th, which was yesterday by MeTV Tunes staff. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So, it ain't easy being a leading man or bunny. For Bugs Bunny, basking in the spotlight also meant creating enemies, whether it was literal predators trying to eat him or lame ducks trying to steal the spotlight, a la Daffy. Bugs had plenty of adversaries, but he's not completely innocent. Our favorite cartoon bunny, our little stinker, loved bugging his opponents. Gleeful, he sabotaged Wile E. Coyote, messed with Davy Duck, outsmarted Yosemite Sam, and straight up dunked on Elmer Fudd. Bugs is one of those characters who is energized by confrontation and loves getting a rise out of others. But who was Bug's real archenemy? Did he have a main opponent, or was his star power too strong for that? Hmm. Some interesting questions there, huh? Hey, Rick. Hey, I'd say Daffy. Well, we'll find out, Fitz, and everyone else. I guess we'll find out here in the article here. And again, another friendly reminder, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. With that being said, and also, of course, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with that, let's continue on with the article. Some characters face Bugs once, but others face him many times over the cartoon. Only one character went up against Bugs 36 times. We looked through the original Looney Tunes theatrical shorts library and crunch the numbers, find out who bugged the most. Let's take a look at some of these surprising results. The first one is Granny, and they have a 2 next to her number. Granny isn't one of Bug's opponents, but it's worth noting that Granny and Bugs appeared in 2 cartoons together. Both times their interactions were brief or non existent. So Granny is safe from Bugs for now. Bugs also never appeared in a cartoon with Granny's pets Sylvester and Tweety. Many fans believe the theory that Termite Terrace had a quote, one good guy, one bad guy rule, unquote, so the good guys never overlapped cartoons, which is why we rarely see Bugs interacting with Roadrunner, Tweety, or Porky. So there you go with that, which makes sense for the All right. So, Mike, guess who got guess who got banned on my channel last night? Who got banned? Elk. I think with either Elk or that one other girl. I would think, but why would anyone need to be banned? Why would anybody bother Rick? Well, they started belittling me and insulting me. Yup, Elk. Wow. Oh boy. Do you care to briefly explain what happened, Rick, or would you rather keep that under your head? I mean, knowing Elk and knowing his views and stuff like that, I think I have kind of an idea what might have happened, but if you wish to elaborate, feel free. If not, that's cool too. Totally up to you. But elk would be my guess. But anyways, so while I'm waiting to see if you do in fact respond to that question, I'm going to continue on with the article. Oh, it's easier to say over the air rather than typing. All right. Um. Well. If you would like to share, I can send you the link, and you can come on and talk about it if you want to talk about it. Um. Just let me know in the chat here that that's what you want to do, and then I can send you the link to StreamYard here. But while I'm waiting to hear back um, on that, let's see. To Gossamer, who has two number, so in hair raising hair. Okay, now I see what they're talking about. These are the number of times that Bugs has been involved in a cartoon with these characters. So in hair raising hair and water everywhere or every hair, Bugs ends up in a mad scientist's spooky castle. The mad scientist tries to steal Bugs' brain to power a robot, and when shocker, Bugs proves uncooperative, the scientist sends his creature Gossamer after Bugs. Like many characters, Gossamer is easy for Bugs to outwit and trick. Gossamer also sometimes goes by the name Rudolph. Of course, Gossamer right there, as you can see, is that big hairy creature with sneakers on. I let you get through your articles first. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and send you the link, anyways, Rick. I'll send you the link, and then maybe when I'm done with the articles, if you want to come on and talk, then um, we can do that. Let me. I'll send you the link to your on Facebook. All right, Rick. So if I just sent you the StreamYard link, if you wanted to, you know, if later on after we're done with the articles and stuff, if you want to come on for a couple minutes to talk about it, uh, just let me know. Oh boy. And I definitely don't like seeing this. Hey, Edwin. Thanks for coming in. We're going over some articles here. Hey, peeps. Hey, Edwin. All right, so 3, Big Bad Wolf, who appeared with Bugs 3 times. Um, Bugs goes up against the Big Bad Wolf in 4 cartoons. Little Red Riding Hair, the Windblown Hair, Now Hair This, and False Hair. The wolf visually changes from cartoon to cartoon, but they eventually landed on a final model in Three Little Bops. All right, so guess the three next to his name must be something else then, or Witch Hazel, number 4, the fourth one that bugged quite a bit. Um, Witch Hazel. 3, Witch Hazel. Witch Hazel and Bug faced off in Bewitched Bunny, Broomstick Bunny, and a Witch's Tangled Hair. In all 3 cartoons, Witch Hazel tries to cook Bugs into a potion soup concoction, and Bugs quickly outsmarts her. Number 5, Porky Pig 3 times. This was a bit surprising for us. Porky and Bugs only appeared in 3 cartoons together. First, Porky's Hare Hunt, which was before Bugs was really solidified as a character. Um, yeah, in fact, I think Porky's Hare Hunt, that might have still been when Porky was being featured in black and white cartoons, I think. Um, then they both made silent cameos in A Corny Concerto and um, where they performed a dance routine together. Porky played a caricature of Elmer Fudd, and Bugs played himself. Their last cartoon character was Dumb Patrol, where Porky makes a cameo, which is cut short by Bugs slamming him in the head with a brick so he can take Porky's mission. There we go. Number 6, the Tasmanian Devil. Tasmanian Devil. The Tasmanian Devil only appeared in 3 cartoons with Bugs. With Bugs? This one is surprising and also not at all. Taz is a perfect opposition for Buzz. He's wild, he's violent, he doesn't have logical limits like Elmer Fudd or Yosemite Sam. No, I think he's just one who's just strictly trying to eat Bugs. But also, I think one of the other things you can talk about in terms of the Tasmanian Devil, he actually debuted late in the Warner Brothers. I mean, I don't think he debuted until sometime in the '60s. So he was one of the last characters to debut for Warner Brothers before they shut down. Basically. Um, he should be in more cartoons with Bugs, but producer Edward Seltzer ordered animators to shelve Taz. After watching Devil May Hair, Seltzer said the character was too scary and violent for children, which would anger parents and translate to lower ticket sales. Luckily, studio boss Jack Warner asked about Taz, after not seeing him in cartoons for a while, and Taz was saved. But he was saved right in time for Warner Brothers cartoon to shut down in 1964. So actually, it was earlier than I think it might have been the late 50s then, because I knew he was kind of a late addition to the Looney Tunes family. That much I do remember. So that's why there aren't as many original Looney Tunes with Bugs and Taz together. Of course, Taz, many of the Warner Brothers characters, Looney Tunes characters, would show up in shorts later. Would show up in, of course, TV shows later featuring Bugs as well as specials and stuff like that. So, and of course, as some of you may remember from the '90s, Taz actually got his own cartoon show too, Tasmania. So, anyways, number 7 here, Cecil Turtle. I guess 3 appearances here. Cecil and Bugs race each other every time they interact. In keeping with the classic fable of the tortoise and the hare, Bugs spends the whole race sabotaging Cecil instead of just being fast. Bugs' interactions with Cecil are the few cartoons where Bugs is the bad guy, while Cecil is very cute. All right, don't know how many people would argue that a turtle's cute, but in Looney Tunes case, yeah, I guess would make sense. His personality is a little too shy and easygoing to be a real long-term antagonist. Number 8, Gruesome Gorilla, who I guess was in 3 cartoons with Bugs. The misunderstanding is really the stork's fault. But in Gorilla My Dreams and Apes of Wrath, Bugs is mistakenly dropped off at the gorilla residence as their new baby, quote unquote, and smaller quotes there. And animosity ensues. Bugs wants to leave, and Gruesome Gorilla wants him to leave too. But Mrs. Gorilla says he's their baby. Bugs, and this is actually one of the other times where you hear Mel Blanc and June Foray, of course, voicing in this cartoon, of course, voicing Bugs and Mrs. Gorilla respectively. Well, you see that'll going on, but Bugs has fun with the situation when he realizes he can do no wrong in the eyes of Mrs. Gorilla. So he ruthlessly messes with Gruesome Gorilla and runs back to, in quote, Mommy when things turn south. Bugs and Gruesome also face off in Hurdy Gurdy Hair, where street performer Bugs fires his trained monkey, and the monkey sends Gruesome after him. Number 9, Rocky and Muggsy. In Bugsy and Muggsy, Bugs messed with Rocky and in Bugsy and Muggsy, Bugs messed with Rocky and Muggsy from beneath the floorboards. Bugs played them against each other and never really interacted with them. In the other cartoons, Bugs either accidentally walked into a situation with them or was directly kidnapped by them. Basically, they're gangsters, and he kind of came in and inadvertently foiled their criminal enterprises, as it were. Number 10, 4 Times with Marvin the Martian. Of course, these came out in the 50s with the whole space race stuff going on. Um, so most of Marvin and Bugs' interactions go like this. Bugs is forced to go to space. Bugs lands on Marvin's space base. Marvin prepares to destroy the Earth, and Bugs has to stop Marvin from blowing it up. Where's the kaboom? While Marvin is a fun character, his straight man act makes it difficult for him to operate around Bugs' free spirited trickster energy. Yeah, I remember in one of those cartoons, you could see Bugs, Marvin, and Marvin's Martian dog, as it were, all hanging off of a crescent moon that's basically had 3/4 of the main moon blown completely off, where they end up being just on a crescent version of the moon. 11. Wile E. Coyote. Five interactions, I guess. Hmm. All right. So the normally mute Wile E. Coyote is suddenly able to speak when he's dealing with Bugs Bunny. In Operation Rabbit, he even introduces himself as, "My name is Wile E. Coyote Genius. I am not selling anything, nor am I working my way through college. So let's get down to cases. You are a rabbit, and I am going to eat you for supper." Unquote. Direct and to the point there, Mr. Coyote. They follow the same format of Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote battles, but now Wile E. Coyote has an enemy who enjoys trash talk, which helps Bugs distract and disarm whatever schemes the Coyote has cooked up. In their rivalry, Wile E. Coyote is the dynamite and Bugs is the spark. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now we jump up, I guess, in so number 12, Daffy 16 times. Sweet 16 for such a salty pair. Most of Bug's character pairings are people chasing him in some way or another. But with Daffy, it's different. With Daffy, it's about competition. Daffy lives to outdo Bugs, even if they're both running from Elmer. Shoot me now! Shoot me now! It's duck season. It's rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Duck season. Fire! uh, Daffy's motivation isn't survival. It's outrunning Bugs. They're not friends, and they're not exactly enemies. But they are a lot of fun together. Some people, I guess, the term people might use for them today would be they're frenemies, right? That might be the term. They're kind of friends, they're kind of enemies. They're kind of like a mix of the two. Number 13, 31 times with Yosemite Sam. I hate you, rabbit. Uh, they are frenemies, yeah. He has stolen the intergalactic space modulator. Yep. Yeah, they are frenemies. Yep. And Rick, I believe that is the case. Number 13, Yosemite Sam 31 times. Yosemite Sam was created to hunt Bugs. Animated Fritz Frayling felt like Bugs had outsmarted Elmer Fudd so many times that it was starting to come off as bullying. So a new opponent was needed, one who was violent, smart, and not as easily pushed over like Elmer. Thus, Yosemite Sam was born, and to wreak havoc in the Wild West, on pirate ships, in outer space, anywhere. Bugs went from 1945 to 1964. Yosemite Sam was there, and ready to put up a fight. Yes, and we even saw, because of their rivalry, Yosemite Sam at times, um, was sent was sent to hell. In fact, he was sent to hell a couple of times in one cartoon where he actually ended up taking over hell from Satan himself. Anyways, before we get to, I guess, before we do close this out, I do need to step away for a moment. You varmint. Yep. I do need to step away from the computer one more time, so I'll be right back. I'll be right back. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So let's get back to the article then here. All right, 14 one-hit wonders. Before we get to the real winners, let's acknowledge the one-hit wonders. The cartoon characters who decided one battle with Bugs was more than enough. Pete Puma, Two Curious Puppies, Beaky Buzzard, Three Bears, Russian Dog, Red Hot Rider, Angus McRory, Colonel Shuffle, Giovanni Jones, Nasty Canasta, Bruno Bear, Charles Wolfe, Red Riding Hood, and Count Blood all dealt with Bugs once and said never again. Now, of course, Pete Puma, that he was voiced by Stan Freberg, who we actually featured yesterday in the Niche History segment, as he passed away, I think, something like 10 years ago yesterday. So, number 15, 36 times Elmer Fudd. It's official. Bugs Bunny's number one enemy is Elmer Fudd. They appeared in 36 cartoons together, concluding their 20-year battle in 1960's Person to Bunny. While not surprising, Bugs and Elmer's years of competitive enmity helped form Bugs' character into the cartoon icon he is today. Worth the twabble, if you ask us. Wow, so he faced Elmer 36 times. And then he faced like Daffy 16. So yeah, there we go. So and then you can watch Bugs Bunny and Friends on MeTV Dunes weekdays at 9. Let's see, weekdays at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, 6 a.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. Saturdays, of course, at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. 7 Central, 5 Pacific, and Sundays at 12 noon, 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific. So with that one now, let's see. Wow, we're already up at 37 minutes. Well, I was trying to get more to so actually, maybe I'll just push back the other article I was going to do tomorrow because we did actually spend quite a bit of time on this one. So, but Rick, if you would like, I did send you the link to the StreamYard on Facebook. So if you'd like to come in and talk about what happened with you and Elk, we can do that if you want. You know, because obviously something must have really been going on because you claimed that he was belittling you. So again, I'll just wait to see if you want to pop in. Ah, there you are. All right, I see it. Hey, Rick.
Hey.
Now
Yeah,
this is interesting in the fact that you're usually a pretty even keeled guy. You're not somebody who gets too upset or too rattled too much. So Elk must have done something pretty bad to get banned by you.
yeah. In some ways, I saw it coming a while back, but last night he just, I guess, struck the last straw, or what's the thing about the last the last straw? Pull the last straw. How I forget how it goes, but basically, we got onto somehow, um, you know, the Dark Ages and the Roman Empire, and I forget exactly what it was about it, or when it started or whatever, or that the Dark Ages helped the Roman Empire fall or whatever. But, basically we end up having a disagreement. And he basically belittled, insulted me by saying, "Oh, I'm just an arnacchini cook or maker."
Aren't you?
That's what I'm making at my job, arnacchinis, which are golf ball sized rice balls.
Okay.
I'm just, like, so because I'm just cooking these things, a rice ball maker, my opinion means nothing. And then, he proceeded also a couple times to call me retarded.
Oh yeah. Well. I'm glad he didn't try to pull that off on my channel because he did if he had done that with me, you know how
Yeah.
I feel about that word.
Yeah. And
And
I know there's too many.
I would have banned him like faster than you could have said Mississippi. So
And you know what? I can take that. Sometimes that is said in jest, that word. And usually when it is. Right? And I knew he wasn't meaning it in jest.
mm-hmm.
You know, and
Yeah, even in the time when he was here, I had kind of a granted. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt most of the time, but I just
yeah.
knew he wasn't probably meshing as much, because
So
obviously we know his history. We know he grew up in the church, but then pretty much, rejected Christianity and went down
yeah,
another path.
but I had enough of him. You know, he
Is this
said he
something
was.
that's been building over time? Is this like
Well, I think part of it was because he's been trying to edit me from the chat on my comics and all that.
you're
He's been
trying
getting
to
me to
edit?
try to be big philosophy. Like last night, I was drawing the boobs or the breast for my one character, and I was using Wonder Woman as a reference to get the skinniness and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
I just happened to say, oh, she's not got big as boobs as or breasts as Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, why? Why is this? He's wanting some big, philosophical reason why I've chosen not to make Snowdrift, that's who the character I was drawing at the time, breasts as big as Wonder Woman's. It's just because I chose to. And he's
Is
wanting
is
all these
is
philosophical
Snowdrift a woman?
reasons.
Is
Heard
Snowdrift a
it?
woman? Is
Yeah.
Snowdrift a woman? Okay, I never knew that. I never knew that. You never made that
Yeah.
clear.
And that's fine, but like he's been doing all this, questioning, and trying to make my reasoning seem flawed, illogical, or putting down my reasoning, over the last few months, and so that's probably been part of it build up, you know, and then he's went on this kick before, that I'm not that intelligent or whatever, you know.
My general impression is he thinks that he probably one of those who probably thinks that anybody who doesn't agree with him or see the world through the same eyes he does is unintelligent.
Yeah, or close to it, anyways.
Yeah.
But like I had enough of it last night, and I banned him. And he quickly, therefore, unsubscribed as well, or I'm pretty sure he did because my subscriber count went down one. But you know what? I don't give a damn.
Yeah. I wonder if that happened with me too, because I noticed that maybe like I'm back down to 241. Now sometimes hard to say. I don't know if maybe he's just because I know he hasn't been back in a while, and
Well, he might lurk a couple times. He knows of your channel, so he can come in and watch unsubscribed. He just doesn't say anything either, and he could do that to mine. You know what? I don't care. Fine. Give me the view. I don't care.
mhm.
Well, actually, the thing is, on my channel, he won't be. Even if he says something, he can't say anything.
Because you banned.
I hit him from the channel.
Yeah.
I don't think you went that far.
I'll usually put up with him. Like for me, when he and Goodnight Spoon were still on, they were talking about other stuff. I let it go. I got obviously when people are here, I'd obviously prefer them be engaged in what we're talking about. But I can also understand. I've seen on other people's channels at times people get into like side conversations as they're
Yeah,
watching.
and that again, that's something I don't care about. But you come onto my channel, you insult me, belittle me, you disrespect me,
I mean, at least be
left and
respectful,
right.
right? At least,
Calling me unintelligent and all that, retarded, belittling my reasons for doing something, saying that they're not good enough, you know, that's just disrespectful. And
right.
I was tired of it.
And I don't blame you. I don't know if any reasonable person would put up with that kind of behavior. I think full well I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I would.
I just thought you would find it.
I would have gone off on him and then just banned him after. And like, because me.
I just thought you would find it ironic, or not sure, maybe ironic's the wrong word, Then he finally got banned on my channel too.
Well, the thing is that yeah, he would he obviously I did notice he seemed to stop at least participating. I mean, I didn't know if he was lurking or not. For all I know, maybe he's the one who's been like you know unlike disliking me of late because I've been getting some one dislikes. Maybe he's been for whatever reason.
I don't think so because last night's stream where he got banned, that didn't get a dislike as far as I know. So if he was gonna dislike any, it would have been.
Yeah, but basically, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through all that. That's
Yeah.
kind of,
It's a pity, Like obviously I'm gonna live, and I'm not too affected by it. Maybe I'm affected a little, and I can admit that. But just because it sucks that it came to that, you know. But hey, it's life, and I'm gonna move on, and my channel is gonna become bigger and better, and
yeah. I
you know,
know. It's kind of funny that way with YouTube. It's like you have your ups and downs. I mean, I got towards the end of last year, there towards the end of 2024, I was all the way up to 245 subscribers and 1,400 hours within the last year. Now I'm back. Now I'm back down to 241 and in the lower 1,300. So I'm just trying to get people to come back and start watching the stuff again. Just
yeah.
but sometimes
Well,
what happens.
well, the thing is, unless Elk was coming. That's you've lost some view hours from him not coming, but it's not worth it. Having him here if he's going to be an idiot, to say it nicely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't, I'd be more hopeful that Goodnight Spoon will at some point come back because as far as I know, there's no issues there. I mean, you were
Yeah,
telling me he's got some issues on his end more with family stuff, and I can understand that. But,
yeah. He's got a lot he's going through. His grandfather just died about a week and a half ago. Last Thursday they buried him, um, and he's going through some stuff where getting a lot of anxiety in his life. It's to the point where he's had to quit his job because he's feeling really agoraphobic, which basically he doesn't really want to leave his place.
right.
So
Well, on a positive note, Fishozo, who is from who I've seen on Metal's channel or the
yeah,
Vomitorium. He's been coming to hang out a bit, and I've been glad to see
yeah,
that. He contributes quite a bit too in the comments and stuff like that. So
yeah, yeah.
I'm
I've
glad.
noticed it the last few times I've been here. There's been a couple times where I've come and haven't said anything. Just I put you on to give you the watch time and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching something else or whatever. But
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of the same way. I'm like I'm like all over the place in terms of stuff too. But well, anyways, I'm sorry to hear that, Rick. Well,
yeah,
I got you here anyway, so um, I guess I'll get to the wrestling route. If you want to stick around for the rest of the show and just
yeah,
you can comment on some of the stuff that we talk about real quick here. Um, we'll do the I guess we'll do the wrestling wrap up real quick, then do the this day in each history segment, and then maybe I'll give you a chance to promote. Again, since you're here, promote your
yeah.
stuff, and then we'll just wrap things up. So anyways, I gotta go look up the. So as I said to everybody else here, we are gonna move on to the wrestling wrap up. We're already at the 50-minute mark. So we're gonna look back to last night's NXT. As some things did go down. In the open, last night's WWE NXT coming from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, with of course Booker T, Corey Graves, Big Joseph, and Stephanie Vaquer all on commentary. Stephanie Vaquer just primarily on commentary for the first match of the night. So the opening match saw an attempt to see who would be the next challenger for Stephanie Vaquer's NXT title. Jada Parker and Jordan Grace did battle, ending in a no contest when they both went after Stephanie Vaquer, and Vaquer slapped them, causing a double disqualification. And during the exchange between the three, Julia, who had been out for last month nursing an injury, made her return. The woman who Stephanie Vaquer beat for the NXT title came back and laid out Stephanie Vaquer. Now even putting the NXT women's title in even more of a hot spot among four women seeking it. In a non-title tag team match, NXT Tag Team Champions Fraxium of Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeated the team of Swipe Right of Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes in exactly 5 minutes. In a qualifying match for the NXT Women's North American title for I guess an upcoming match in the tournament to crown the new North American title, which of course Cynthia Vaquer vacated last week to focus more on the NXT title. Sol Ruca with Zarya in her corner defeated Jasmine Nix of Fatal Attraction to advance in that tournament. The calling members Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance defeated Hank and Tank in a tag team match in just over 3 minutes. Wes Lee defeated Yoshiki Inamura in a one-on-one match. In another match for to see who advances in the women's North American title tournament, Izzy Dane of the Calling defeated Ren Sinclair of No Quarter Catch Crew to advance in the tournament. So now you have Izzy Dane, Sol Ruca, and I can't even. There was one girl who also advanced last week. I can't even remember who it is now, unfortunately. But with that, and then the main event saw in a 6-man tag match members of the new stable Dark State with Cutler, James, Dion Lennox, and Shaquan Sugars with Osiris Griffin in their corner, defeating NXT champion Oba Femi, former NXT champion Trick Williams, and Javon Evans in the match. And in other WWE news as well, former WWE Divas champion, Kelly Kelly signed a Legends contract. Which she'll be doing some of course, work for WWE. Whether or not she plans to return to the ring anytime soon is not for certain. But Kelly Kelly is another WWE alumnus who has now signed a Legends contract, so she'll be making appearances. Now, moving on to tonight, as tonight's Dynamite, the first Dynamite coming off of the Dynasty pay-per-view. For those who will be watching it at a later date. It's coming from the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, with Excalibur, Taz, and Tony Schiavone on commentary, as well as Tony Storm. In a non-title match, Katsuyori Shibata will be taking on AEW World Champion Jon Moxley. Pac takes on Swerve Strickland. Pac 1/3 of the AEW World Trios title holders. In an 8-man tag match, you have Mike Bailey, Mark Briscoe, Kevin Knight, and Will Ospreay taking on the crew of Action Andretti and The Rush, as well as Ricochet and the Beast Mortos. In a women's qualifying match for the Owen Hart tournament, former AEW World Champion Thunder Rosa takes on former AEW TBS champion Chris Statlander. In the main event, we'll see Death Riders duo of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta taking on the Ops of Hook and Samoa Joe in a match that could be used to set up a potential World Trios title match in which the Death Riders of Castagnoli, Pac, and Yuta will be answering the challenge of the Ops of Hook, Samoa Joe, and Katsuyori Shibata. So with that being said now, and that being done and said, as we're all caught up, of course we'll get everybody all caught up on what happens tonight, tomorrow. But now that we've come to towards the end of the show here, before we do wrap things up, now it's time for, with today being Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025, it's time to take a look back at this day in each history. History. So let me get 95 and 1975. So first off, we're going to. You all right there, Rick?
Yeah.
Did you hiccup or something like that, or?
Oh yeah, I did I went or something like that,
All right.
just a minor little hiccup.
All right.
I don't mean in technical ways.
So with that being said, so first off, we're heading back 50 years ago, and on this date, 50 years ago, back in 1975, premiering on Net TV in Japan, the Toei Animation anime Young Tokugawa Ieyasu, also referred to as Boy Tokugawa Ieyasu, premiered on Net TV on this date back in 1975. So 50 years ago today, Toei Animation's Boy Tokugawa Ieyasu, also known as Young Tokugawa Ieyasu, premiered on Net TV in Japan on this date back in 1975. Now moving ahead 10 years to 1985, on this date in 1985, the 10th issue of Eclipse's Crossfire went on sale on newsstands on this date back in 1985, 40 years ago today. The 10th issue of Eclipse's Crossfire went on sale on newsstands. So for $1.50, and there's 32 pages. Editing, of course, done by Mark Evanier. The title of the story was Cadaver Goes Hollywood, written by Mark Evanier, with art by Dan Spiegel, lettering done by Carrie Spiegel McCarthy, or Carrie McCarthy Spiegel, and Joe Monia did the coloring. So now, moving on to the final piece of niche history here. Moving ahead to 1995. On this date in 1995.
30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago. Right, Rick, 30 years ago. a.k.a. cartoons, or a.k.a. cartoons, The Brothers Grunt aired its final episode on MTV on this date back in 1995. The Brothers Grunt is an adult animated comedy television series, and the earliest series made by Ed, and Eddie creator Danny Antonucci. It originally aired from August 15, 1994 to April 9, 1995 on MTV. It centers on 5 humanoids named Frank, Tony, Bing, Dean, and Sammy, are in search of their lost brother, Perry. So, on this date 30 years ago, let's see, the series had a short run and was met with generally negative reception, with many considering it one of the worst animated TV shows ever made. Well,
Wow.
sometimes out of failure comes success because Antonucci, Ed, and Eddie ended up becoming a big hit for Antonucci after this one, huh?
Yeah. The Brothers Grunt remind me of the Brothers Grimm.
Well, I almost made that flop too there. All right. Well, with that, with all that being done and said, as we now begin to wrap up, Rick, I'll open the floor to you if you'd like to, maybe promote your channel, promote any projects you're doing this week. I'll give
Well,
you
I
a
do.
moment. The floor is
I
yours.
do have the what you call it the silhouette game on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That is going to be uh, showcasing the topic of the night will be comic book characters that debuted in 1948.
All right. Yeah, you've been talking a lot about that lately.
Yeah, so that might be something that you might be able to get some points on compared to everybody else. You know a lot more characters
Well,
that probably
if I stick around long enough, because I'm
yeah
I'm busy with I usually get
yeah
busy
you got to prepare for your show here.
well, first off, that depending on when some of it is usually from like 1:30 to 4. That's
Yeah,
when I'm watching my afternoon Toonami block or cartoon.
yeah,
Well, now I don't even. It's more like afternoon delight now because it's just purely Western cartoons at that time. And then Annie Nights is from 9 to midnight for me when I'm watching those. But
yeah. Well, this would be an hour before your show's supposed to take place. Is when
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
starting.
4 o'clock, and usually in that I'm usually um I might, again, it depends on if I happen to pop. I
Yeah,
usually will at the very least pop into like, share, and say hi, and then
yeah,
But usually, as you notice, I don't always stick around because I'm usually doing other stuff usually too. So,
yeah.
um,
But
but
there, I'm gonna put a link for my channel there for people.
all right, so
They
we'll
want to come over
highlight
and
that so
subscribe,
they can see that.
watch some stuff new or old, because I got lots of videos. We drawing stuff, you can comment on it in the comment section. I'm trying to get my watch hours up there so I can get monetized. I'm
Aren't we all?
at 500.
Aren't we all trying to get the subscribers and the watch hours up? Aren't we?
Well, I've got the subscribers for the 500 mark. I just need the 3,000 hours watched, and I'm finally out of the 830s. Now I'm in the 840s. I was gaining some traction there, but I was at to like 843, and now I'm down to 841. But
Oh,
hey,
subscriber. Yeah, as I said, I've been kind of going back and forth. I've been as high as 245, but now I'm back down to 241. Hours wise, I went back down from like over 1,400, where I was almost like half. It's funny because at the beginning of the year here, I was almost halfway to each mark. I was at 245, which is almost halfway to the 500
yeah,
subscriber mark, and then I was at like in the upper 1400s, getting close to the 1500 hours, which was about halfway to 3,000 hour mark. So hopefully people will start coming back though, and hopefully I'll
yeah.
so
Well, I think the major difference between last year and this year at this time is, well, at least I was one of your co-hosts during midweek stuff. So,
yeah,
you had some, you know, co-hosts, during midweek, you know,
yeah.
commenting. That seemed to get some people coming in and watching the interaction with you and whomever. I know, but it's hard getting a lot of getting a regular co-host and all that. So
Well, because with and the thing is, I'm worried about the idea of having just one co-host after what all happened with Backdo too.
yeah,
What I don't want to see happen again is somebody feeling like they're getting burned out by it because the whole thing, it's not, granted, I drive myself hard. You've seen that, okay?
yeah,
I drive myself pretty hard, and sometimes I know that unfortunately can sometimes translate where I inadvertently might drive other people hard too. I'm
yeah,
not I'm not doing it to be mean or nasty or anything like that. It's just the way I am.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah. But there's people. It's just finding the right person to come alongside. You know. And I'm just saying it's something to possibly think about if you can find somebody. That you can gel enough with that's got the time to
well, I
get
mean,
on air with you.
honestly, Rick, if I was going to consider if if I was going to consider
A co-host.
having a like more of a permanent coach, at least for the weeknight shows, for the Monday through Friday shows, you and RJ would probably be the top two choices.
Yeah,
But RJ, of course, is kind of busy with more of the distribution stuff. He just got married too, and he's even indicated he's not necessarily interested in doing the YouTube thing on a regular basis. He doesn't mind, like he likes and doesn't mind doing the once a month co-host for the his
yeah,
whole comic retrospect, but he's not looking to come back, and I can understand and respect that. And then I know
yeah,
you have stuff you do throughout the week too.
yeah. Well, I know I could probably commit to Wednesdays because I got nothing going on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
If you wanted me, but that's
Well, for me,
that,
if I were to decide to have a permanent co-host, I'd want I'd want somebody who could commit to like all 5 days, and
yeah, yeah, and I get
I
that.
know I don't have anybody for that right now because
Yeah,
like you know you have your stuff you're doing. Metal has stuff he's doing, particularly on Mondays and Thursdays.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
know Shadowhawk is already
yeah.
committed
He's
to
got
Red. So I know he'd be like tired by the time, so that's why I wouldn't even. But
yeah. It's just something to like you said, you got nobody at the moment. It's
I can be a co-host. Well, if I knew you a little bit more for the shows, though, I'd probably I might consider you, but you're still relatively new to me, and I'm still relatively new to you. I mean, I know we probably interact before you started coming hanging out here on my channel. I know we had few interactions on
metal.
Metal channel, so but I do see potential there because I've seen how you comment in the chat, and
Yeah,
I see you can contribute to the material,
yeah.
it's just it's
Maybe, and I'm not saying right away, but maybe a test thing is maybe eventually having him on, trying him out on the Sunday nights, with reading the comics.
well, that might be a possibility.
Yeah, and like I said, not right away, but like
The
a couple
one the
months in the
one the
future.
one the one thing though the one thing that one the one thing, let's see, and I'm just looking at your name because I might go over for the contact information in of itself. I might actually subscribe to you if it shows up, just so I have some kind of contact information for you in the event I do decide to. But keep hanging out, and if you're enjoying the show and stuff, keep hanging out and keep participating, and that door might open. I mean, right now, I'm not necessarily thinking or looking for a co-host at this point in time, but if I should decide, and you seem
Yeah,
to be interested and you contribute, I might consider you. I'm always open to opportunities. I'm just, It just depends upon.
Yeah, you got to get to know somebody, feel whether you might um, mesh with them decently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you heard us talking about the whole situation between Rick and Elk earlier, because Elk, I'd have Elk come on, when I was doing the panel shows. Elk was a part of our panels, and and
He
eventually,
seemed somewhat all right, but
yeah, but as kind of the guy who's more the counterpoint guy, more or less.
yeah.
But
And
anyway,
sort of, hopefully, I didn't overstep my bounds, suggesting that in the future, maybe on like the Sunday. Hopefully, I didn't overstep my bounds in suggesting that, especially on
no,
air.
Rick, I welcome suggestions. I mean, you know, okay, suggesting is one thing, demanding is another, or being
Yeah,
forceful about your suggestions is another. Okay, I'll listen to suggestions. Okay, I'll listen, and I might consider them, I might not. I'll at least listen to them, and if you suggest something, I might think about it.
yeah,
Um, but if you start sitting there and saying no, you should do this, or you start trying to tell me how to run my show,
yeah,
you know, it goes back to the whole idea of attitude and and showing proper respect. Just
yeah,
you know, just as you would expect me to be respectful when I come onto your channel and into your
yeah,
chat, I expect the same thing. It's like
yeah,
it's just common courtesy, right?
yeah. I know, and that's why I just as you. I'm not sure whether I
As
was
we
half
were talking about
apologizing
earlier
or
with
whatever. Just
Elk, I think, is somewhat forgotten about that. So,
yeah,
um, but anyways, we're well past the hour mark here.
yeah.
So with that, I think Rick, I thank you for coming in and sharing, sharing the whole thing with about Elk and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye.